The cube root of 8 is 2. The cube root of y to the 12, we are dividing the 12 by the index of 3, which is y to the 4, and z6 divided by 3 is z squared. Number 2, we're going to separate this as the cube root of 8x cubed on top over the cube root of 2 on bottom. The top becomes 2x. On the bottom, we have to multiply by the cube root of 2 squared. The reason why we're multiplying by 2 squared is so that we get 3 2's on the bottom, which will then just simplify it to 2. The top now, the cube root of 4 stays. To get rid of a negative exponent, we flip it. So my first step would be 5 over 49 to the 1/2 power. To get rid of the 1/2 power, we separate it as the square root of 5 over the square root of 49. So my final answer is plus minus square root 5 over 7. So we need 4 of a kind because for this one we have the number 4. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to break down the 2,000 to be 210. 200 is 20 and 10 is 5 and 2. 20 is 4 and 5. 4 is 2, 2. We bring down the 5. The 10 gets broken down to 5 and 2. This comes down and this comes down. So now I'm looking for 4 of a kind. I see that I have 4 number 2's, so that's going to come out as a number 2, but there's a 30 on the outside. And we know that on the inside we're going to have 2 5's, which is 25. Now the a to the 9th I need to break down as a to the 8th times a to the 1, so a squared will come out, a to the 1 will be inside. B to the 18th I'm going to break down as b to the 16 and b squared. So b to the 4th comes out, b squared stays in, and c to the 10 is going to come out. So my final answer is 60, a squared, b to the 4th, c to the 10, 4th root of 25, ab squared. Number 5. 4th root of 405 x cubed y squared. Well, because it's a 4th root, we know we can't do anything with the x cubed and y squared. So we're going to go ahead and break this down to 5 and 81. 5 is 5, 9 and 9, 5, 3, 3, 3, and 3. So we have 4 of a 3's. Those come out. We have the 4th root of 5x cubed y squared left over. Number 6, we're going to separate it as square root 25 over square root 49. That's going to be plus or minus 5/7. Number 7, I'm going to separate it. So we're going to separate this to be the square root of y to the 5th over the square root of 245x cubed. So now we're going to go ahead and deal with the bottom. We're going to separate that to y4 times y1. So on the bottom I have y squared, square root of y. On the top we're going to bring 245 to be 5 and 49. We know 49 is 7 and 7. We're going to break down x cubed to be x squared and x to the 1. So now when I take out the top, I have a 7 and an x come out, and I have a 5x stay in. Now the last thing is taking care of this y on the bottom, which I multiply the top and the bottom by, and I get 7x square root of 5xy on top over y to the 3rd on bottom. Now the reason why it's y to the 3rd is because these y's here come out as a y, so the y squared times y is y to the 3rd. Number 8, we're going to separate it as the cube root of 27x cubed, 6, over the cube root of 5. So on the top, the cube root of 27 is 3. So we have 3x squared on top over the cube root of 5. Now I cannot have the cube root of 5, So I'm going to multiply both the top and the bottom by cube root of 5 squared. Remember, we're trying to get 5 to the third power. So now on the bottom, I just have the number 5. On the top, I have 3x squared cube root of 25. Number 9, first step is to go ahead and get rid of that negative 1 by flipping it. So m squared n cubed is on top, 4m to the 4th n cubed is on bottom. Now we have n cubed over n cubed, so that cancels. There's a 1 left on top. We have 4m squared because 4 take away 2 is 2. It goes on the bottom because that's where the bigger variable was. For number 10, we're going to add our exponents, so we get 49 to the 5/5, which is just 49. For number 11, we're going to go ahead and we're going to subtract, so that gives me a 1 over 27 to the 1/3 power. Remember that the 1/3 power is the cube root of 27 to the power of 1, so that's 1/3. Number 12, I'm going to rewrite this as 7 times 2/3 times 7 squared times 2/3. So it's 7 to the 2/3 times 7 to the 4/3, which is 7 to the 6/3, which is 7 squared, which is 49. All right, solve each, check for extraneous solutions. Remember, checking for extraneous solutions simply means that you're just plugging in the answers and making sure that they work. So for the first one, how we get rid of a 1/3 power is we multiply both sides by 3 over 1. So now I'm left with x minus 2 equals 27, x equals 29. 29 minus 2 is 27, the cube rooted is 3. For number 14, we subtract 4 from both sides. We get 3x to the 2/3 equals 50, 49, 46, 48. Sorry about that. We divide by 3. We get x to the 2/3 equals 16. We multiply by 3 over 2. So x equals the square root of 16 to the 3rd power. So x is going to equal plus or minus 64. All right, so 15, we're going to add 7 first. So x to the 1/2 power equals 7. X equals 49. For 16, we're going to remember to isolate our radical first. So we have the square root of 2x plus 3 equals 5. I'm now going to square both sides. 2x plus 3 equals 25. 2x equals 22. X equals 11. 11 times 2 is 22, plus 3 is 25. Yep, perfect. So I square both of these. So I get x equals x squared minus x. 0 equals x squared minus x. 0 equals x times x minus 1. X equals 0 or 1. Both work. Square both sides. Remember to FOIL the right hand side. So we have x squared plus 9 equals x squared plus 2x plus 1. So because there's an x squared on both sides, that's going to cancel. So I'm left with 9 equals 2x plus 1. I'm at a minus 1, which gives me 8 equals 2x. X equals 4, which does work. Number 19, now this is cube rooted, so I'm going to cube both sides. Don't forget about that 3 on the outside. He's going to become a 27 times an x minus 2 equals 6x. So I have 27x minus 54 equals 6x. I minus the 6x, which is 21x, equals 54, and I divide both sides by 21. X is approximately 2.5. All right, so number 20, we're going to cube both sides to get rid of that 1/3. So I have 3x plus 1 equals -8. 3x equals -9. X equals -3. -3 is -9. Perfect, it works. 21, square both sides. Don't forget about that 3 on the outside. 10x equals 9 times x plus 1. 10x equals 9x plus 9. X equals 9. 10. So 22, you want to isolate one of the radicals on each side of the equal sign. So we're going to add the 5x plus 2 to the other side. Now I'm going to cube both sides. So that gives me 7x equals 5x plus 2. 2x equals 2. X equals 1. Number 23, we're going to square both sides. Please do not distribute the squared to the x minus 10. You need to FOIL this. I'm going to bring it over to 0 because anytime we have an x squared, a number, and a so the factors of 98 that add to -21 are -14 and -7. So x equals 14 and 7. Let's see if both work. 7 plus 2 is 9. 7 does not work. 24, we're going to cube both sides. 2x minus 4 equals -8. 2x equals -4. X equals -2. -2. 25, we're going to square both sides. Now this is that wonderful FOIL on that right-hand side. So this is square root x minus 8 plus 2 times square root x minus 8 plus 2. So on the left side it's x, on the right side it's x minus 8 plus 4 square roots x minus 8 plus 4. So now we're going to isolate that radical again. So we're going to get everything over to the left side so the x's cancel. So I have -8 plus 4, which is -4. So 4 equals 4 square root of x minus 8. Divide both sides by 4. 1 equals square root of x minus 8. We're going to square both sides. 1 equals x minus 8. X equals 9. And the last one. Again, we're going to square both sides. So that's going to give me x is here, square root of 2x plus 1 plus 1 times square root of 2x plus 1 plus 1. So this is x, this is 2x plus 1. My inner is 1 square root of 2x plus 1. So I'm going to have two square roots of 2x plus 1 and then plus 1 on the last. We're going to get rid of the right-hand side, anything that doesn't have a radical, so I'm going to minus 2x. So I have -x, 1 plus 1, minus 2 equals 2 square root of 2x plus 1. We're going to square both sides. So this is going to be x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals 4 times 2x plus 1. So x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals 8x plus 4. I am going to get it equal to 0. So x squared minus 4x equals 0. X times x minus 4. X equals 0 or 4. Let's see if both of these work. 0 does not work. 4 square root 2. Four does not work either, so this one is our no solution.